Good afternoon, everybody, and late Thanksgiving greetings to all of you. It's the day after Thanksgiving, and I wanted to have a little message to the parish about getting ready for Advent and um, the circumstances that we're going to be coping with and during Advent, and some of the hopes and the promises that Advent offers us as a parish. So first of all, I had to quarantine last week because of I was exposed to somebody with COVID, and so it kind of created a new level of intensity for me in my own life, another sense of the complications and the circumstances that surround us. So um, I realize, and a lot of you also have been exposed or maybe even have COVID, but it just kind of brings to mind the challenges that we're dealing with and the fears, some of the fears that we have as we cope with our future. Um, but I want to assure you that we're not defeated, and faith is not undone or somehow diminished in the context of this crisis, but rather we're renewing our faith and we're renewing our strength in the Lord every single day. And we're supposed to be moving forward, not in fear or somehow feel limited, but we're supposed to be moving forward with confident assurance and confident hope that we're doing what we need to do in the Lord. So I wanted to share with you just a line from St. Paul's letter to the Ephesians. He writes, "In all circumstances, hold faith as a shield to quench all the flaming arrows of the evil one, and take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the Word of God." So, I want to encourage you, first of all, as we look at Advent and as it approaches near, I want to encourage you to nourish your own faith and to nourish your own commitment to Jesus Christ as we enter into a new holy year, a new year of faith, and a new year of confident assurance based on Jesus Christ. And so that you can have a holy Advent and not just one that you're kind of constantly dealing with the circumstances that surround us. So, just to remind you that Advent is a season of hopeful preparation for Jesus and his coming. And we celebrate his coming in several ways. We celebrate his coming at the Feast of the Incarnation, or the Feast of Christmas, and we welcome his presence among us as a human being. Although that's a historical occurrence that happened a long time ago, we still honor it and celebrate it as the inauguration of our new life in the Lord. But we also recognize, and we'll hear it this weekend in the readings, and the readings this weekend will remind us of his coming at the end of the world, at the end of time, on the day of the Lord, to bring his salvation and judgment to all his faithful ones. So we want to continue the processes as a parish of growing in our faith, growing in the constant assurance of what God has done in the birth of his Son, Jesus, in the Incarnation, but also to build up the faith and encourage the sharing of the community as we await for the return of the Lord at the end of time. And we do that as well. So people are tired of having to deal with the constraints of not being able to meet in person and things like that. But I want to encourage you to keep building these small faith communities because they're essential in terms of the process of coming to a deeper faith. And maybe instead of focusing on a group outside of your home, it might be imperative and important to kind of focus on the group that is in your home and to find the times as a family group or a group within the same household to really meet and to share faith. Because we may be a little bit timid about meeting with others, and we may be even tired of Zoom meetings and feel fatigued by them. But there are still opportunities, and we should take advantage of them, of sharing faith. And sharing faith with those that we share our lives with is a beautiful and a great way to begin this Advent season. So we're going to give you the opportunity to think about that and think about ways in which you might reach out to somebody else and share a little bit of faith with them. We're talking about 3 conversations that we are having in the parish. And those 3 conversations are basically this. First, the conversation, which is really an opportunity to share personal, trusting, vulnerable prayer with other people. And this is not simply to say a prayer or to say a few prayers. This is the opportunity to spend some moments with some people sharing what your needs are, what your concerns are, and being able to lift them directly to the Lord. So sharing in a trusting, vulnerable prayer, intentional prayer that focuses on our personal needs is probably one of the greatest ways to begin this whole process, and one of the greatest ways to begin it in your household. Secondly, the process or the second conversation, the second issue that we want you to kind of focus on is sharing your faith journey with others. So if you're not going to do it through a Zoom meeting, or you're not going to be gathering in person with those who are close to you, even an individual opportunity between 2 people is acceptable and welcome. But think about sharing in your own family. What's been your experience of coming to know the Lord? And being able to share that experience, or those experiences of coming to know the Lord, can be very helpful in growing together as a faith community. And the third conversation that we want to encourage you to have, maybe among family members, maybe among Zoom, small group, is the conversation about how does your work, or how does your life, or the events of your life, the work of your life, really add to and augment the whole coming of Jesus' kingdom? Because each of us are a contributing element to what is coming along the pike. What is coming is the kingdom of God. And we want to be able to see our work and our efforts, our time, our concerns, always as a part of that effort too. So to be able to share that with others is a real important aspect of this third conversation. Sharing how your life contributes to the coming of God's kingdom. So I want to remind you that Advent is a special time in which we get back to what matters most in our lives. And what matters most in our lives is faithfully following Jesus. We think it's imperative that you share with others and not just take this as a singular journey, and maybe reach out to somebody or reach out to those that you live with. So a phone call, a conversation, a letter, any way that you might want to reach out to somebody else and connect with them and share with them a little bit of one of these conversations is going to be a great thing and a great way to help you grow in Advent. I want to encourage you to try Zoom if you haven't yet, and see that there are possibilities, FaceTime, Zoom, there are possibilities and ways to meet, and it is inconvenient and it is not easy, and sometimes it's just a burden. Nevertheless, our Lord promises us that those who make the effort are going to find the reward. So I'm going to encourage you and not to pass up what opportunities may await you. So this weekend we'll have Advent materials available, including the opportunity to make an Advent wreath. And so I want to encourage you to take this season as a great opportunity to grow in your relationship to the Lord. Have these 3 conversations, build a faith community in your household or otherwise, and find the Lord, for he's close at hand. God bless you and happy Advent.